Welcome to Inside New York City Dance. I am your host, Ashani Mfuko, and we're here in New York City. We're at Eminence Studios, and we have a fantastic show planned for you today. I'm here with my peoples from the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory here in New York City. If you've never heard of them, where have you been? They have like 15,000 fans on Facebook. Anyway, they're here, and they're gonna talk about what it's like to be a hip hop dancer here in New York City and more. And then later on in the show, I have my girl, Joni Johnson, who's a health coach here in New York City, talking about the latest, craziest fad, which are grain juices. Have you had a grain juice before? I've tasted them. They're not all created equal, believe that, but she's gonna show us how to make a grain juice, the best ingredients to use, and all that good stuff. But first, I have my people, Hip Hop Dance Conservatory. Welcome to the show, guys. You can dance. It's Inside New York City Dance because it's about dance. So if you felt the need to dance, you could do that. But anyway, who's here? Who am I talking to? I have Yasmin Fakir. Did I pronounce that correctly?
You did.
I
That was
did.
pretty good.
Who is the Associate Artistic Director of the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory. I'm going to hop on over to Yvonne Chow, who is the Education Director.
Yes.
Looking fabulous, by the way.
Thank
And then
you.
who is this guy in the middle? What's his name again? It's Safi Thomas, who is the Artistic Director. And welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's up? Do you guys talk like that at the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory? What's up?
Not often.
No. I didn't think you did. But Safi,
Yes.
tell me about the mission of the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory. Why does it exist? Why did you feel the need to found this organization?
That kind of came from looking at the need to bring education into the diaspora. This was back in the 90s, so there was a lot of there were a lot of different people who were either teaching their form of dance or things like that, but there was no trajectory towards being able to have a career within the art form without some type of, substantial job placement, trajectory, choreography. Like, well, where do I go, after 20 years?
Right.
And no one had an answer for that, really. And so wanted to have a way of being able to balance out the needs between our classical dance counterparts and us, because they have a level of education that allows them to be able to jump through multiple trajectories, from dancer to choreographer to master teacher, all of this. However, we didn't have that level of trajectory. It's just, what we do within the culture and then what we do within the industry, and then there's a top off. So it was just trying to find a way of being able to expand on the education that we have, with dance theory, music theory, anatomy, things like that, and then also being able to find avenues to have more empowerment as dancers, as opposed to kind of being, a slave to the industry.
We don't want to be slaves. We came a long way. We're not going to go
did.
backwards. We want to move forward.
that.
So Yvonne, tell me about the blade dance technique, because this is a unique technique that is just at the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory.
Yes, the blade dance technique is actually the only codified teaching methodology for hip hop dance to date. It was created by Artistic Director Safi Thomas in 1995, yes, sitting right next to me. BLADE is an acronym for Building Leaders Through the Advancement of Dance Education. So I think the one main thing for a lot of students coming in is that they want to just do dance.
Right.
And for us, it's not just about building them into dancers, but first building them into leaders. And that starts from the moment that they walk into the door. It's not, after a certain amount of time, it's not after a certain, skill level. It's recognizing that the moment that you walk in, you have an effect on everybody else and that you have an impact on your community. So having them recognize that from the onset. And in terms of the dance itself, it's based off of dance heuristics, which is the science for the way in which we learn dance. So we're studying how the brain processes movement, and then how that, in knowing that, can help us have clearer movement, better execution in our choreography.
That's fabulous. I've never heard that anywhere else. So you guys are very unique, which you know already. Yasmin, tell me
Yes.
about some of the repertory that you guys have within the repertory company. Do you have any performances that are coming up? How does that all work within the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory?
Well, we actually do have a performance coming up in August, our summer repertory exhibition. During the summer, each summer we have a summer intensive where students come from all over the world and take our intensive. It's our annual or our curriculum for the entire year, truncated into the 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds intense. Sounds intense.
And it ends with a culminating performance. So this year, our feature piece is going to be The Dating Game. This is actually a piece that we mounted back in 2007, so we're remounting it.
I don't think I've seen
yeah.
that one.
Yeah,
Haven't
no, we
seen
haven't
that
done it
one.
since then. Yeah. It's a parody about just bringing to light, relationships and dating, and the games that we tend to play in order to, find a mate, or like all the different things, the different rules, like you have to, do this in order to get a man, or the different things like that. So yeah, that will be our feature piece for the summer exhibition.
That's wonderful. So
Yeah.
a lot of your pieces, if not all of them, they tell a story. They don't just come from out of nowhere and
Right.
people are just doing some cool moves, maybe like a little bit of this. It tells a story, and it's almost like going to see like a Broadway show or something like that. You really get pulled into the characters and what the story is all about. Why is it important for you guys to tell stories through hip hop?
Well, in terms of just art in general, it's important to actually use the art to convey a certain message in order to get the attention, or once you have the attention of the audience, what are you trying to say? Yes, you want to entertain them, or, give them something to see, but it's also about, educating the general public, and we do that through our pieces. So this is, again, like talking about relationships and what we do in relationships and how things may not always be the most productive thing in a relationship and a healthy relationship. So using the art to inform the public as opposed to just entertaining the public.
I love that. And Safi, you're all about people walking away from your performances, making them think, walking out like, okay, I need about a couple weeks to process what just happened. No, really, it's thought-provoking choreography, or it's a thought-provoking experience. It's not just, they did some cool head spins, and then that dude did a freeze on the floor, and then I don't remember what else happened, but it was cool. So this is all coming from your inner creative juices. Why is it important for you to kind of expand the horizon for people when it comes to hip-hop dance and how they think about hip-hop dance? Why is that important to you?
Well, I think everything kind of starts from wanting people to experience more than what they do currently, and understanding that this is already built into the construct of our art. Our art has always told stories. We've always been telling stories. Even from the early '80s, we were always telling stories. So it's not really. This is not something that's new. What has happened is the entertainment industry has taken and misappropriated our art form and turned it into more so, a
Make it nice. Make it nice. Sugar it up. Add some sugar, because I know how you get.
It's turned it into more entertainment than it is, thought-provoking. And, there are aspects of the art, like theme, motif, and things that can be, pulled together to actually create something more than just, random movement to random songs, which is kind of what it's turned into. But there have been people that have been doing this, way before, we even started doing these things. You have people out there that have been doing pieces here and there and scattered for like the longest. We're just the ones that came along and started to do this, straightforward and do it consistently, and making sure that people understand that that's out there. So you have groups like Full Circle. You had Rocksteady Crew doing that as well. You had, who else?
What was it?
I know.
Rhythm technicians, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
like, I mean, there's a lot of people who were doing these type of shows before we did. And now what we're doing is we just do this consistently and making sure that people know that there's more that can be done with the art, you know,
Absolutely.
the same way the classical community does.
Yeah, and you guys create more of like an all-around kind of theatrical experience too. It forces you to learn because you're watching it and you can see clearly the themes and, like you said, the motif that's in it. And it's like, oh wow, I see what they're talking about. They're addressing this stereotype or they're addressing this social issue. So it makes you think, but at the same time, there are costumes and props and sets and, you know, so you get the full theatrical experience, but it's hip hop and people aren't used to that. So Yvonne, for you, from the education perspective, when you have these, you know, youngsters coming in and all they've seen about hip hop is maybe what they did at their local dance studio, which is God knows what nowadays, or you know, whatever they see on television, where do you kind of bring in that level where they can get a full understanding of what hip hop is all about, the history, you know, the present, and what you guys are trying to push towards for the future generations?
Well, I think obviously what kind of makes our conservatory what it is the contextual classes, is the academic portion. So not just having the dance be a part of the education, but also the theoretical classes as well. And we pair a lot of the theory with practical application in the dance room. So we have classes like Elements of Repertory Production, where they learn about stagecraft, they learn about how to analyze other performances, and they learn about how repertory companies in the past did it that were not hip-hop dance, because they are our template in a sense. So they learn about, you know, people like American Ballet Theater or New York City Ballet and how they had kind of started up in their repertory. And then in terms of the dancing itself, going further than just learning the movement properties and the movement qualities of all the elements of our art form, but also, you know, acting for dancers, character development, how to create stories for your characters so that you're on stage not as yourself, just being a dancer, but you're on stage as your character contributing to the whole of the work.
I love it. This is why people need to be at the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory, because you're not getting this anywhere else. And you mentioned ABT, and there are other modern ballet dance companies who do these types of things. If you go to college, you may get these types of elements within your education. But if you're a hip hop dancer and you go to take a class at who knows what John Doe, you know, dance studio, you're not getting any of this. They're going to show you some moves that they saw on YouTube, and that's what you're going to walk away with, and that's it. But you know, you're doing so much more than that. And I guess I should ask you, Safi, what are some of the misconceptions about hip hop dance and hip hop dancers that you try to address and teach and educate your students about at the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory?
Well, I think one of the first conflations that happens is, you know, again, you mentioned it earlier, which is what they see on television or what they saw at their dance studio, and then what they get when they come here. You know, like we have, you know, they start to meet people, you know, from the actual hip hop dance community, and then they're kind of confused because, you know, it's like, whoa, wait a second, I thought what I was doing, you know, was hip hop. And they start to recognize, no, there are elements, you know. So when you start to kind of get into those elements and start to see, you know, the wide diaspora that exists, and I mean, you can do this for, you know, decades, you know, and still not know everything, you know, and there's still things that you learn, you know, I mean, been doing this, you know, years, and there's still so much more, you know, that that I learn and I always pass on to them, and it's, you know, it's a constant level of development. And so, you know, one of the greatest misconceptions that we always come in contact with when meeting others is the fact that they think that, oh yeah, hip hop dance, that's like, you know, it's like 6 years old, right? You know, and, you know, so that's the first, you know, misconception that we have to combat, you know, recognizing that, you know, this is a deep and very rich history that's over 40 years old. And a lot of our, you know, originators and OGs, like, they're all, you know, in their late 40s, early 50s. You know, so this is, you know, this is expansive, and there's a wellspring of knowledge that's out there. That's not just with us. There's so many other people who are willing and ready and able to share knowledge across multiple platforms, but no one knows about their existence. And that's mainly because what we're getting thrown on MTV or other, you know, shows is, okay, you know, dance, flashy, smoke, round stage, but at no time are we paying homage to those who created those art forms? You know, when do we start to pay homage to them? Why are we paying homage to the, to the music artists
Right.
when they are not the ones that created the dance?
No.
Right.
So why not, focus on these guys who are all alive, by the way? Why not focus in on them? And how about you have, a show that's dedicated, to Rocksteady Crew? Why don't you have a show that's dedicated to Dynamic Rockers? Why don't you have a show that's dedicated to, Granny and the Robotroids? Why don't you have a show? I mean, there's a you can go on and on of all these people that you could be dedicating your show to and teaching these kids that are coming something
their
more,
lineage.
substantial.
Right, educating them more than just entertaining them.
Right.
Because I feel like if you have the attention of so many millions of viewers
Viewers,
that
yeah.
are mostly young people, that's a huge opportunity. So why take that opportunity and just be like, oh, okay, let's just put on a show? It's like, wow, you missed the whole point. It's a shame to me. But I want to thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It was my pleasure, as always. I love these guys, I love them. We can learn more about you at hdcny.org.
Yes.
They're also very active on Facebook, so
We
if you
are.
want to go on Facebook and join their 90 million fans, you're welcome to do so. But thank you so much, Yasmin,
Thank
Safi,
you.
and Yvonne. And right
Thank
now we're
you.
going to show one of your videos,
Oh, wow.
the H Plus community class. So check that out. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love it. You make me want to.
Amazing class. It's hip hop for the thinking person. Definitely different than what I've ever experienced before. I've taken like classes here and there, but this is definitely different and I enjoyed it.
I'm really enjoying it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Perfect way to spend Friday.
It's actually really emotional for me because I feel how close the people are here and how much energy there is and how much knowledge there is, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Inside New York City Dance with me, your host, Ashani Mfuko. I'm here in the studio now with one of the most fabulous health coaches in New York City. Yes, her name is Joni Johnson. She's here with me. Hello, Joni.
Hello, thank you.
Welcome to the show. Joni was on my radio show also last year.
Last year.
Yeah, and we talked about a lot of good stuff. I got a lot of good pointers from you, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling clean.
So you're eating healthy.
I'm eating healthy.
Good.
I'm doing good. So we're going to talk about some green juices today. This is like the hottest fad. I'm reading about it on blogs. I'm seeing it on television everywhere. What is the big deal with green juices? What's the big deal? What's the talk about?
Well, there's always going to be a fad. You know, the 80s was no fats, the 90s was no carbs, and it seems like now it's detoxing and juicing, and just remember that it's a fad.
Right.
It's going to go eventually, but there's never any harm in getting more fruits and vegetables into your diet.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing at all.
Tell me, what is the deal with green juices? What should we be using to put into the green juice? How do you make it taste good? Because I've had some green juices, girlfriend.
I know.
They were healthy, they were clean, they were organic, and they were nasty. So we don't want that. Tell me how I can make a delicious green juice.
Well, this is an easy one that you can make at home. You don't need to buy an expensive juicer.
Okay.
I actually recommend that you do a blender over a juicer, because when you blend the ingredients together, you're going to get the complete fruit and vegetable. When you juice it, you're taking out the good stuff, like the skins and the fiber and the minerals that are in the fiber. So when you have the complete fruit and vegetable, you're going to get the optimal benefits out of what you're drinking.
Okay,
so
cool. What do we have here?
Really simple. This is your powerhouse right here. Spinach, kale, the greener the meaner. You want to put the greenest, healthiest looking greens into your juice possible. And don't skimp on them. You know, this is the main ingredient in your juice.
Okay, good.
And you know, that's why the craze is, because your greens are full of immunity boosters. And you know, as soon as I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit sick, I load up on kale or spinach and a lot of water, and I try to kick it out of me that way instead of, you know, down in the medicine.
Oh yeah.
Parsley. Parsley's a diuretic, and it's going to help clean out your kidneys, so it's going to help flush things through your system.
We like clean kidneys.
We do. We do, yeah. And you don't want to use too much of this because the taste could be really strong. So maybe just a quarter of what's in this bowl right here.
Okay.
All right. Then some of our other ingredients that we're going to use. We are going to use half of the juice of a lime and half of the juice of a lemon. And in addition to just giving it a flavor punch, you're going to add in your vitamin C.
Yes,
So.
we need vitamin C.
Yes.
And I like to drink lemon water. Is lemon water good for
Great.
you? That's
Yeah,
good for you too.
it's great.
Okay.
You're not adding sugar to the lemon water.
No, it's
Okay.
just water. Hello, Joni. And if I was, I wouldn't tell you right now on the show. But anyway, no, I'm not.
Right, and then we're going to add in an apple. Just depending on the size of the juice that you're making, I never, ever measure out ingredients. I'm
You're
terrible.
one of those people.
I'm terrible
Okay.
at baking. I can't be bothered. I don't have time.
Right.
So
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
exactly, and I just test and we'll see what comes out. And if
Right.
it tastes good, I'll do it again. And if not, don't do it.
Yeah.
So anywhere from half of an apple or a whole apple,
Okay.
just depending on the amount of sweetness that you want. So this is your
I like
natural
sweet.
sugar.
I like sweet, so.
And you also want to go for more vegetables than fruits, because even though it's a natural sugar, it's still sugar,
Right.
and you don't want to overload your system. So anywhere from half to a full apple. Add in another vegetable, some cucumber. It's good for the fiber. Lots of vitamin K. Vitamin K is going to help you with strengthening your bones. It helps, you know, reduce the risk of osteoporosis, arthritis.
Yes,
which
dancers.
is a threat
this is
for
important.
dancers.
Very,
Yeah.
very important for us. Absolutely.
And then just a little bit of ginger. So I would maybe take, you know, you can buy these in any size at the grocery store, but maybe just take no more than this.
Really, is it
Yeah.
that powerful?
It's so powerful.
Yeah.
If you get too much ginger in your juice, you're not. It's maybe one of those disgusting juices that
Maybe
you.
that was the problem.
Maybe
'cause
yeah.
It was like.
It's really. It almost feels a little spicy in your mouth. if
Oh,
you've got,
I don't need that.
Yeah, yeah.
I want fresh and sweet and yummy. That's what we're going for.
Right, and the ginger is an anti-inflammatory, so that's going to be important for dancers as well, because we're working our muscles really hard. You are always at a risk for inflammation. Inflammation causes disease, so get the ginger in there, and it's going to help reduce the inflammatory.
So after the show, you're going to make one for me. But I want to know, you have all of these fresh ingredients here, but you can buy green juice anywhere. They're at like your CVS, your pharmacies, everywhere they have them. Is it better to just buy it? Are you going to still get the freshness, or is it better to just use your own ingredients?
You're not going to get the freshness. And if you're buying it in powder form or something that's pre-made, pre-mixed, it's been sitting on a shelf, you know, it's going to be full of chemicals, preservatives, because you know, you don't have to put anything in this. You're going to drink it right away.
Right.
And you know exactly what's gone into it. When you get the juices from the store, you don't know what they've had to put into it to preserve it so they can ship it and then sell it. And with the powder form, you know, that's really, really processed. So I always say eat real food.
Right.
You know, it's going to be the best thing for you.
So for your clients who are not dancers, because you're a health coach, you work with dancers and athletes and performing people, this may be intimidating to them because they're like, I'm drinking some spinach and parsley and cucumbers, and what are we doing? Really, I'm not sick. Why do I need to drink this? But how do you kind of like push them in the direction? Just give it a try. It might, you might like it.
Right. It can be intimidating. That's why I recommend using the blender and stick with ingredients that you know. And you can mix up your fruits. You could add a pear instead of an apple if you prefer pears. You know, throw some strawberries in or blueberries. If you don't like spinach, go with kale or try another leafy green that you do like. And just try to simplify it. It doesn't have to be a lot of ingredients. You know, keep the number of ingredients down because less is more.
Absolutely.
And
this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Less than 10.
Less than 10.
Keep it down.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for coming
Yes,
on the
thank
show.
you.
I'm going to give it a try. You're going to mix it up for me, and it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
Fingers crossed. But thank you for coming on the show. This is Joni Johnson from Motivated Nutrition. You can learn more about her at motivatednutrition.net. And guess what, guys? That's the end of the show. This is Insight New York City Dance with your host, Ashani Mfuko. That's me. And you can tune in every time the show is on MNN or anywhere else. And you can find me on Facebook at Ashani Mfuko Dance and Twitter at Ashani Mfuko. And I'm on YouTube, Ashani Mfuko Dance. Do you see the trend? Ashani Mfuko, just add a dance. It's all good. We're here. We're loving it. And thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.